Hello. I'm going to talk to you about soil. Now, soil is something that is very often underrated, but in actual fact, without it, we would not be here. We all know about food chains, about plants being eaten by herbivores, carnivores then eating the herbivores, and so on through to the top predators. But of course, it doesn't just start with the plants. Plants need soil. They need soil as somewhere to anchor their roots, to get their moisture, to get their nutrients. So, if we didn't have soil, we would have no plants, and there would be no humans, there would be no food chain. So soil is absolutely vital. But of course, there's not just one sort of soil. Depending on climate, depending on altitude, depending on the underlying rock, all soils will be different. One of the other things that soil does is to lock up carbon. So in these days when we're worried about global warming, that is a really important aspect too. And they filter our water, and they have a huge effect on the landscape and on the water supply. I've set up a little demonstration here. In this pot, I have clay. Some soils will have a lot of clay in them. What happens if I add water to this pot of clay? I've put holes in the bottom of these pots for the water to drain out again. The water is not draining out. The water is sitting on the top, which is lovely if you want a pond. This one has sand and gravel. What happens if I pour some water onto the sand and gravel? The water is coming straight through. So that means that on a very sandy soil, the water and all the nutrients that are dissolved in the water is draining through and not being available to the plants. What you actually need is something like this. This is loam, this is my garden soil. The magic ingredient that is in here, and not in these, is organic matter. And if I pour some water into here, it doesn't sit on the top, but neither is it draining out of the bottom. This soil is acting like a sponge. So it's holding water, it's filtering the water as it goes through, it's slowing down the flow, and it's making nutrients available to the plants. What we'll do now is we'll get our hands dirty and actually have a look in some soil. This soil is full of life. There are billions, literally billions of microorganisms in here. There will also be fungi, lots of invertebrates, worms, beetles, all sorts of things. What they're doing is incorporating the organic matter into the soil, breaking it down to make the nutrients available to the plants that grow in it. Now, if you look at the structure of that soil, you can see how it's like a sponge. So that is perfect for holding water, filtering water, providing plants with everything they need to grow. So, the message is, without soil, we have no plants. Without plants, we have no food chain, and in fact, we have no people. So we need to look after our soils and all the creatures that live in them.